So maybe I shouldn't have restarted. Take a long time to buffer. So I'll start up, I'll turn around the Periscope. Make sure the cords are out of the way. You'll see it's a big cord area. And remember, there's nothing in the room, and there's nobody that's allowed in here but me. If you hear anyone threaten you, it's not me. Not that. Building's insane. There's nobody home. Yeah, I can't turn this around. When you mess around with Periscope on a smartphone, it's really easy to tap it. Also, my phone, so it's an LG. There you go. There we go. That's me, age scarred. Don't wear makeup. I have glass scratches. It's popular in Washington for gang members to sprinkle people with glass. And they targeted whites, white-looking, semi warm-skinned European. I'm not white, actually. My own family is involved. Now, if you hear anybody, remember, it's nobody normal. Nobody normal talks with their lips pressed up against a wall, even at 207. And usually there are plots to waylay me from 207 and the Crip in 209. Oh, I forgot to put my clothes over here. I need to close and brush my teeth. I'm not rabid. Don't call, CDC. I'm not rabid. Brush my teeth. And remember, if anyone in Washington ever tries to portray themselves as a hero, that's what these bums have tried to do. They put out propaganda about the people they destroyed, calling them demons. That's as they drive off in their car and sleep in their bed and eat their food. So I'm going to super arm the alarm while I'm over here. You might say, well, why aren't you doing stuff in the other room? Well, if you think about it, think about a cave and a caveman. Is the caveman better off guarding the mouth of the cave or going back to the back and crying if a bear comes in? And there's no way out. What's it going to do if there's no place to climb and get away from the bear? Bears are actually smarter than gang members, though. We'll say a threat. So these are mostly security cameras, and I'm getting ready. But what's some valuable information that you could walk away from if you happen to click on this video? I would say when a gang member tells you to do something, including to pretend that you're in a relationship with them, you never want to do it and you want to find a policeman. It is the first step of your undoing, one of them, to be involved with someone who wants to take away your identity. That's basically what that is. And I could go on and on and on and on, but when a gang member tells you to do something, you're also not Santa Claus. It's just going to lead to more blackmail, and they'll want you to hold the bag too. As they say. What do I mean by that? Well, the gang members' tricks, now they don't worry about their identities. Why? They're confident because they've been getting away with things with the dirty cops for years. So, what does that tell you? They don't care about, you know, the identity, especially if they've got 299 other ones to fall back on. So, what's going to happen is that they don't care about ruining your identity. So, oh, kept forgetting to get shampoo. I bet and I've got water. Oh, I slipped on something. That was almost an action shot. That's the irony. It's like, you know, you might go to the park to escape your bad building or to get some water or something. It wasn't the scary boogeyman that killed you, was it? It was the tree roots and no light at Green Lake. Sure, it was like a Friday the 13th atmosphere. What was it? It was the tree root that you didn't see. Actually, stump. But the city didn't bother to take out. No, it'll be okay. I wonder how many people have tripped over that thing. So in case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just washing my hair. The water here is very poor, and it actually almost made like a cloud. I just put in some nice, it's actually a nice dollar store bleach. I mean, nothing's nice. It's not good for the earth, but I had to have an inspection, so I needed mud to come up. And so that mud coming up, I used something pretty mild that you can actually spill on yourself, but it mixed with a whatever is in the water here, and it stunk. And if you're thinking, well, I'm just going to say that actually gang members can't be trusted around anything, including water supplies. And there's a reason why I have burned hands from water, that it's not, it wasn't the temperature, it was what was in the water. I might turn off the heat so you can hear something. In the event there is somebody, which people have actually spoken to it on Periscope, it's not one person, but they use, the bums here use the crawl spaces and they climb up. I think there's also an ugly blonde cop here still, or he's come. It's an ugly blonde male. He has a very funny voice. He is rather effeminate. He clearly has an anomaly. He looks white. Now the thing is, in Washington, looks like it has an anomaly is actually, well, that's a product of decimations, genocide. Remember, these people killed, I believe, 30 million plus in 20 years. And it was going on for 80 years in Washington, and it describes why, or explains why, there's a pattern of inexcellence. There's nobody left that's smart, nice, normal, or pretty. Remember that. And even, that's why you're going to find a lot of these guys flouncing around, and the women too, marching around like they're beautiful, because they were able to drag off people, they've killed people, they've tortured them, so they feel very full of themselves. Also, there's something about Satanism that makes people feel like they're beautiful. when they're not, or that they're valuable, or that they have something to say. And believe me, the gang member, retard, reject in Washington, it's got nothing to say. There's not anybody in Washington that really has something to say. But you're going to hear flapping lips all day long. Flapping lips. And remember, these are terrorists. So anybody telling me I'm going to do something, anybody shaking their fist at me, anybody trying to order me around, it's an illegal act. They are terrorists. They are boogeymen. That's all that's left in Washington. Ugly boogeymen. And they killed off, like just the males alone, they killed off handsome, smart, nice people. Nicer, handsomer, better. There's nobody in Washington. There's nobody that anybody would want. And if you hear a moron playing protect you, help you, there is nobody. It's the same freak who's been molesting children, threatening, same moron. It's popular gang ploy. Good cop, bad cop. And where they hide, a lot of people thought they were spirits. So gang ploy, your savior, you got to watch out for your savior. A lot. So there is nobody in Washington. There is no relationship. Let's get that straight. And there is no family. They're all garbage. It's a sea of garbage. There might be some that are aware of what's happened, but you know, I don't see them near me, and I'd be suspicious anyway. I wouldn't meet anybody in Washington anyhow. Oh, and by the way, I should pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done as earth as in heaven. Please forgive our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil, for that is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. So, not even a cop or an FBI agent in Washington is my savior. They're all tainted. They're brain dead. Whatever you want to call it, spiritual, organic, scientific, they are gone. They're evil, and I woke up and everybody was like this. What do I say, wake up? Well, I was probably broken into and drugged. And it wasn't an alien. There wasn't, you know, those alien missing time stories. That's another thing. It's not an alien. It's not a ghost. What is it? It's a gang member. And yes, those UFO people, those ghost hunters, they're involved. I'm going to turn on my heat again. I'm cold. Make sure it's not near water. Safety first, and I'm in the midst of hell. Isn't that nice? Are we happy, everyone? Safety first. Actually, it's actually a good idea. I mean, why would you want to make things worse? Oh, yes. Electricity gone because of the heater being near the water. Brilliant. It doesn't work already. Let's make it worse. Why doesn't it work? Pattern of inexcellence. All retardos left in Washington. Am I preaching hate? Oh no, and I'm not even white. Remember that. I'm preaching the opposite of hate. I'm showing you what hatred did in Washington. Nothing but evil. And they killed whites, white-looking, Semite, and warm-skinned European. And probably as much as of an eighth black. But I'm going to tell you the truth. And you're going to get, in the course of a day, if you were me, well, they'll threaten me all day long. Slavery, fingers off, rape, torture, kidneys, money, to take part in their crimes. Remember, they're child molesters, murderers, torturers, rapists, including the dirty cops. So anybody trying to force their way near me is automatically, you know, a child molester, a cannibal, a torturer, a rapist. And they're all boogeymen and women that nobody wants. There is nobody normal in Washington. Not a one. And they're trying to spread their evil throughout the world. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done as earth is in heaven. Please forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. For that is kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. What do these people also do to me when they kill people? Well, it's a very sad place. And they took my choices away. Not just in, oh, well, I'm gang scarred and I can't do this, I don't have a normal life, wham. Well, they took my friends away. What do I mean by that? Well, they're cannibal zombies, yes, but they took possibilities. Infinite possibilities, like, oh, the cute dog at the corner that could have been there. Well, they've tortured him. Sadly, I look around, there's just a certain type of people at times. It's product of the decimation, certain types that survived. And so you're talking to somebody, basically, and you're realizing it's a cannibal zombie, but there's a sense of sadness like, oh, you took other people away from me. You took an infinite realm of possibilities just in Washington. You took people, because you didn't want them. But you made my choices. I'm here talking to just you, and you're a gross cannibal zombie. And, there's this thing in Washington, it's like you exist in two worlds, where the cannibal zombies are pretending everything's normal. Well, it's not very normal. And like I said, they took away the possibilities. I can't find my wipe now. Oh. And let's put it this way. There are no males in Washington, and I'm not gay. There's nobody in Washington. So there was it was so sad to sit with this one girl. It's happened a couple times. Sit outside somewhere like near the library or the food bank area. It's a place to sit. And then you're talking to this person and you're like, I'm only talking to you because there's nobody else left. It's a human face. It's acted inhumanly. It's even called itself a demon. But that's what's left. Interesting to note, one of them, not even more white or, not even more minority than I. Not really. That's the secret. So you took my infinite possibilities. And they're also, by the way, the grotesque males will try to force a relationship on you, including in illegal rape and slavery, where you'd have a baby with a moron, male, in the game. Ugly moron that nobody wants. So it's like they've consigned me to a gene pool of slime. That's Washington. Oh, it's your new best friend, too. What's that about? Oh, it's somebody that wants to enslave you and wants you to pay $400 a month and go shopping for him. And then it'll look like your new best friend, so nobody will know. It's common gang practice. You want to watch out for that. So remember, this is just a security cam for me, but I also try to impart some knowledge to you. So remember Lisa Guthrie in a slime pool with slime. So I'll never threaten you. One guy has heard some of these morons hiding in a crawl space, including probably across from there or in the bedroom area or both. He called the police. So you can call me crazy, but when people call the police on it, you know something's going on. It's like, yeah, she was lying there in bed and there were people threatening me. Police show up. So what would happen in a case like that? Of course, the police are always very concerned if somebody threatens a cannibal zombie gang member. It's a big no-no in Washington. If you were white, semi, warm-skinned European, or white-looking and innocent, you didn't have 911. I really haven't had it for 14 years. And here's one of the biggest ironies. And so picture people picking on people of color. It's a Nazi. Well, you basically you could consider my family black Nazis. A lot of people in Washington hid as though they were white. That's a big secret. My mother was probably a quarter black, maybe more, possibly more. She might have been more. My sister's at least a quarter black, so is my brother. John Blackburn, Michael Pepper, half brother. Come on, that's ADT. It's very whimsical. It also doesn't like shopping carts. But remember, you could wake up with your alarm system down in Washington because there are even a couple ADT that come here and smoke crack. I don't mean the consoles come and smoke crack. I mean actual people. If you want to know. I'm quite sure that the consoles don't smoke crack. So I saw one of the ADT installers. I almost didn't get it installed that day because I saw him conversing with some of the creeps in the building. Sorry, fixing my belt. I know it's risque, especially for an old lady. Fixing my belt. Now, here's another hint about belts. What can a belt do for a woman or a child or even a male? You can have females. It actually provides you with crucial seconds to avoid a sexual assault. The gang members, and remember, I know about these because I've been tortured for 14 years. Guess what they don't like? They hate belts. Why? It takes time to pull down a belt. They can't just pull the pants. And I'm not trying to be lewd. I'm giving you a little hint about belts. So you want to increase your kids' safety. You want to increase your own safety. You're going into an icky area. You're going mom for the day. You have to go to a bad area. Do something. Maybe in the library. Who knows? Shop. Put on a belt. Put on a big belt. It looks like you have authority too. Like those big Texans. Yeah. And in a sexual assault, it's harder to get your pants. How about that? Maybe eventually, like I thought, how they could invent locking belts. Locking. Alarms? I think I may have seen one, I'm not sure. But I have thought about it. Of course, when you need to take your pants down, you'd want to check in with the service. It's like, yes, I am now going to the restroom. I don't need this heater on. Remember, if you hear anybody else talking, they're not rational, they're not normal. Nobody normal would be also talking in my videos. In fact, I had people stay here 3 months ago or so, they were kicked out. They're not normal, they're not rational. And we had our drama as they were kicked out. I had to turn on YouTube because they were acting so bizarrely, and they had been writing about cannibal zombieism, and they've also been bragging about hamburger from Fred Meyer and 130th. They stated it had cannibalism in it, so they were kicked out. So let's see. Just gonna put my shoes on and looking for, oh, ouch, another marble. I'm looking for my socks. Now I'm gonna teach you a little secret about gang members and mysterious scratches. So remember and I'm not white, they targeted whites, Semites, and warm-skinned Europeans. What's the gang crime that they do here? Glass grains. Different shapes, producing different wounds. Some are more favored for use in different situations. What's one of those situations? And what's one of the types? It's called root beer. And it's got like a hook on it, and it's from a brown bottle, evidently. Like a root beer or a beer bottle that's a big, thick, sturdy bottle. And those are often placed in people's toiletries. Yes, I'm the victim. And that glass will rip out a hunk of your skin, and it may or may not produce any kind of blood. The others will make slits in your skin, including to skitter down your skin when you're sweating. What's another one? It's a filament of some sort. They may even buy them. They float in the air. Well, they buy them. But you understand these are probably the byproducts of machinery and tools processing various items. So a filament that literally floats in the air, you can blow on it, and it's been thrown, I've seen it, and then it will actually penetrate, and it penetrates your skin. The gang members also have tried to put these in people's food. Talk to probably everybody's a gang member zombie except me. One guy's roommate, he actually had some sort of glass put into his food, and it will keep going through your system. It circulates with your blood. Remember, I'm not threatening you, I'm telling you about gang members and what they've done to people like me. Not that that guy's like me, but somebody was angry at him. And that can explain, the gang members are actually, so let's say the gang member zombie things even before they were zombies. So let's picture morons controlling the hands of fate. That's basically what it boils down to. So 30 IQ moron walking around with glass, scarring people. What are some other glass shapes? Just your basic blobs, circles, or kind of square chips, or just chips. And then, of course, those glitter in the air. It'll look like, you know how things in winter produce a spark? They actually shimmer, and you can see them in the light, but they're, you know, those are hard to, like, it's not like you can pick them up for evidence all the time. Especially the filaments. Those are going to float away from you. So, what do you watch out for? Well, you're going to watch out for people that have to touch you, that you don't want touching you, you have a weird feeling, they've gone out of their way to touch you, they've gone out of their way to pass their hand over your head. So, what kind of action would that be? Well, bus is very popular. And remember, glass transfers, so it's not always on you. What else will they put it on? Your possessions. In your open bag. So somebody who looks like they're throwing something, including, there's a very spastic hand movement where somebody's walking along, you know, and they'll almost fall down trying to throw. But that has to go over your head, brushing your head on the bus. Few grains, 4 grains, that's all it takes. Handful. And I think that these gang members, this is what I've sort of figured. There's something about a sweaty palm, other, you know, you're going to have sweaty hands, it would stick, okay, or skitter down. You might find that some of the gang members are going to have scratches in a certain area from carrying it. Other people who have been the victim, they'll have scratches everywhere, including on their toilet paper, so you know where you're going to get the scratches. It's going to be on your clothes, room entry. There are people in this gang, including my grotesque family, Don and Larry Blackmore, Melissa Udd. They've actually bragged about mashing it into people's faces after they've used a needle on them. They've done it to me. Where they're going to, Michael Benjamin Davis Wood. What does this tell you about this face thing? There's nobody left that's smart, pretty, nice, or normal in Washington. There's this big face thing. My sister, Don Blackmer, Michael Tudhope. There was something about it. They were never quite good-looking enough, never smart enough, so they destroyed good-looking, smart, and pretty, and nice. Melissa Udd. And see, that's how a lot of these ugly women got rid of a lot of their competition. So you've got women with huge thighs, the size of a barn, big butts, and they're acting like they are beautiful, and what's some of it in Washington? Now, here's the irony in a minute. It's because they've tortured and killed women that were prettier, and also they've destroyed their looks before that. So they have no competition. Here's the irony. I wouldn't even notice these people if they weren't mean or gross. It's like, you could be 300 pounds 20 years ago. I might have noticed your dazzling smile. Why? Because there was no reason to notice anything else. I wasn't trying to sleep with you. I wasn't trying to compete with you. And if some guy had wanted someone, it wouldn't have bothered me. It wouldn't have bothered me if the guy wanted the other pretty girl. It's like I never had that urge to even, it's like you think someone's cheated on you. Well, I never set out to harm that girl. Isn't that weird? It's like just walk away from the ugly guy. That's all you have to do. Walk away. That's all you do. You don't have to ruin their face or something. But I didn't, oh, by the way, oops, I think I put on a dirty sock. Now, what's something interesting about, no I didn't, about Washington. They're going to show you their brain dead. Why? I don't like his dad jeans, by the way. They're going to show you their brain dead, like, somebody will say about me, like, how did you get those scratches? So there's always propaganda about victims. Thank you for the hearts. So somebody will say, oh, she cheated on her boyfriend. Did I? No. But even if I had, primitive mindset, guerrilla third world country thinks that's logical. What does that tell you? Everybody in Washington's gone. So basically, if you're out there and you're the next generation and you're offered by people, you know, if you have an offer to harm somebody because, you know, oh, that person's prettier than you, that's evil. And just walk away. Nobody's worth even risking yourself over. Is anybody worth risking yourself for like that? No. Why would you want to join with evil Satanists? So you could feel pretty, and after everybody's gone, you're no longer a 2. Work on yourself. You don't want to be a 2? Lose weight. Remember, dazzling smile 30 years ago, I wouldn't even notice we were missing an arm. You'd be my friend 30 years ago. Dazzling smile, nice personality. That's what was important. Now it's about zombies, so I don't have any political correctness. It's like they're in Washington. That same nice disabled person, it's a cannibal zombie, and even like the old people here, you can't trust them. You could bend over and get a needle in your butt, or you might find a gun poking in your back. It's all about gangs and zombies here. Just throwing away some garbage, some orange peel. Oh, and by the way, now, there are types that I keep talking about. They seem to survive the decimations, and that's after a genocide. So I noticed certain types, including really ugly fat guys. Well, guess what? 30 years ago, I wouldn't have noticed all the ugly fat guys because there were more people. The ugly fat guys would have had people, you know, and there were so many other people to look at that's not all you'd see. But ironically, even though they think they're handsomer now because they've killed people that were better looking, they actually stick out like sore thumbs. In fact, some of them look like the thumb people. Remember, you have to watch Copyright's thumb guy, Steve, you know who? It's his copyright, remember that. Starts with an O. It's absolutely his copyright. Some of the morons in Washington actually were acting like those thumb movies characters. And they looked like them. There was a certain type of white guy with floppy brown hair. He looked like a thumb guy. Like what? It was the one with Frankenstein. And the other one. The Blair, you know what. Remember, we have to watch copyright. I've got YouTube on. And I won't mention I Love You Know What off of Antenna TV. I'll try not to. It's I Love You Know Who. Or I Love You Know What. So evil's gonna get noticed by me as ugly really fast. Evil's ugly. Nice, that always gains at least 20 beauty points. Get it? Is that, do you think it's crazy? It's actually, yeah, they gain some beauty points for being nice. Smart. Smart gains beauty points with nice. I've confession to Steve, you don't Google, by the way, if you're out there. I actually did a toe sort of puppet when I was home with the flu one day. And then I took the picture and I put it on a watercolor. I had done with water, like the sea. Mine was very pompous. Had a look sort of like somebody like Queen Victoria. It's very disturbing. But I still acknowledge Steve. Oh, I said Odeker. I acknowledge him. No, Odeker. Yeah, I have the right name. What's going on? Oh. Just putting stuff away. I should leave matches here in case there's a storm. Got a couple of candles. Oh, and if you're worried about the bag being rolled to the floor, this happens no matter where I put, and somebody just tried the door. And then they went down the elevator. So I don't know if you heard the thud, but somebody just tried the door. He's playing remand you. That's a kidnapping, assault, threat. Excuse me. There's a mental patient running around the halls. It's a male, and he's hitting in doors, trying to get in. He'll need your help committing and arresting him. He needs one of those funny jackets. He went down the elevator. Now, as for the bag being thrown to the floor, well, you know, that's a different subject. And I like to concentrate on the visible morons, including the visible morons of Washington that hide in crawl spaces and hit your door. A bag being curled to the floor. It's not nice, but I'm more concerned about the person who's, trying to break in. So, here's a good hint. You treat the gang members as what they are, you get them committed. They're retarded. They're disgustingly ugly, and they don't know it, and they think they can drag you off. Get them committed for that act. Doesn't matter if it's a gang-scarred woman. I have a right to choose. I could be 800 pounds. I'd still have a right to choose, even if I knocked them all over and knocked down my own door and got stuck and had to be taken out by the firemen. I have a right to choose. And bums in Washington are retarded and ugly and nobody wants them. Now, I'll tell you what the dirty police will do. And there's two lurking in the building. Remember, there's two dirty police here, and someone tried to kick in my door. What does that tell you? Remember, these dirty police, it's like they have their own retarded guerrilla army. Remember, there's nobody welcome here. There's nobody allowed. And it doesn't matter what they say. Police, FBI, it's not legal. And I'll let you know a secret. The biggest FBI players are people that have been on welfare for 80 years and have been diagnosed as retarded. That's who likes to play the police or FBI. Who coaches them? Probably over and over too. How does I play that one? The police. I forgot. How do I play that one? And kick down the door and look like policeman. It's like, 6 times later. But remember, these people are very dangerous because they're not accepting of the fact they don't look normal, they're not intelligent. Nobody in a normal environment would believe them as police. They think people will. Thank you for your parts. They're also tenacious. Once they've been told that they're police, illegally of course, by the dirty police, they then, what? Believe they're police and FBI forever. They'll literally scream on the gurney that they're police. They could be in a mental hospital. They're screaming they're FBI. This shoe isn't tight. And once again, what's another one? Well, Will the slaver. Remember, the slaver isn't smart enough to live on their own. They need to be institutionalized. They can't do things on their own. So you can't bust them. You get them locked up in an institution. There are solutions. What if they're making a slave threat for their mother, their brother? Well, evidently, they are endangering their mother or their brother. What else? Their mother or their brother can't live alone. And their relatives should be barred from seeing, including if it's for their family. Like cooking for their kids, they're endangering their children. Thank you for the hearts. What else? They're not intelligent enough, they're not cognizant enough to take care of their children. They need them removed by CPS and the police. Remember, don't try to handle things yourself. Try to do things always legally. Now, because I'm using the restroom, please excuse me, but also note that I had to super arm the alarm. somewhere in here. I think that's oh yeah. So I'm gonna wash my hands and pick up my stomach mints. Instead of flying all over, you know how they're flying all over my back. Whoops. And don't worry about the refrigerator here. The electricity doesn't really work anyway. It's like a different surprise every night where it'll work. Remember, that's a product of the decimations. When people killed people, they got rid of the smart and talented. What do you expect? Smart and talented, gone away. Gone away. All gone. No one there. There we go. Now I can pick up my stomach pills. Why am I talking like this? Well, I find that under stress, it doesn't help to get hysterical. I would be hysterical every second, wouldn't I? Got a rattlesnake in the house loose? Oh, really? Well, guess what? If it bites you and you panic, you will send venom through your system faster. Why should I ready myself for a heart attack fast? These are probably cans of antidote. Oh, what's this? What new pleasure awaits in my bag? Oh, gee. One of the albuterols shoved into the aspirin. Ah, it's from sleeping in it. Use it as a pillow. Remember, I'm a sick person. So remember the guy pushing on the door to enslave me? He is, as all the males are here, the boogeyman. Remember, I have asthma, allergies, chemical sensitivities, chronic fatigue, and fibromyalgia. I have bleeding ulcers, type 2 diabetes. Got that. Remember, I forget. Heart's not as good as it was. Apparently, yes, it's camphor. I'm just going to get them mixed up with the Tylenol or whatever, ibuprofen. Let your pills merge with your lint later. That's good. Some hair and maybe some melted candy on your stomach pills and your aspirin if you need it. The lint. And remember, living around cannibals, it's dirty air. Plus druggies. It's not like you want your toes exposed to the air. You want to see my pills? Here's the, it's from the dollar store. Yeah, dollar store, and then these are pantoprazole. Zoom in on it. Pantoprazole sodium. I don't take them all the time. Actually, without meat and just eating fish, and I will tell you that my stomach isn't as bothered. What else? Not drinking tap water in my apartment. Remember, it was like a caustic cloud, and I used a dollar store disinfectant and the water. Don't drink the water. Ah, this is one of my favorite pills. It's a chocolate pill. More pills. Oh, there you go. That was a chocolate Hershey's Kiss, in case you're wondering. Oops, I said Hershey's, sorry. It's got a copyright, remember that. It's not mine. And I don't portray it as mine. Now, I'm going to tell you something about Washington, people. You're going to find psychotic people in Washington that think they own even other people's copyrighted material. And you'll even find dirty cops that think they own all the invisible or parts of it, and what else? They're going to think they own countries with their friends, like countries across the water. It's a popular delusion among zombies in Washington. Hi there. Just cleaning my purse or my bag I dropped on my stomach, please. Sorry, I can't see very much. Sorry. And I'm just, far from the phone, and I'm just picking up pills before I leave. I'm actually late. I try to get out of here because I don't like to be around cannibal zombies. And they're evil. And I don't like to be around their chanting. They're moronic. Sorry, hi there. Hi, hi. Hi. No. So I'm cleaning up my bag. Cleaning up my bag. I'll try to look at that in a minute, but I'm going to go. I'm just spilling things. I spilled my medicine for stomach. Oh, here's a can of tuna in there. Fun old ladies, take that. Dollars worth. Such riches I have never seen. Remember, in Washington, they'll rob you for a $10 book bag. Something, a spoon in case I need to eat. Nope, it's not for heroin. I don't do that. Usually there's a fork in there too. That'd be a really dumb heroin addict. I guess the heroin would drip through the fork. But that, who knows? That would be the moderate heroin addict. Not on purpose, they're just dumb. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't read Arabic, apparently, but I apologize. So now, salam, and let's see. Are you telling on people that are in your country, perhaps victimizing you? That's actually, but I can't read Arabic, I apologize. And the thud underneath, there's thudding underneath! That's a public bathroom, there should be no thudding. It's a break-in threat. And remember in Washington, they don't need housing, they need a pig's trough and like a place for the sewage to drain. There was already someone pounding on my door. And there are people that hide in crawl spaces. And there are there people that are thieves here? Are you telling about thieves? Remember, I don't speak Arabic or read it. I apologize. I'd like to. It's a beautiful language. And the font, gorgeous. And the music, beautiful. Now remember, there's usually an ambush plot, 207, 209, the Crippen 209. Oh, I have to turn the oven off. Safety first, even in the midst of hell. Doesn't do any good to, come back to a charred ruin. Washington isn't behaving like they're living in charred ruins already. I have to go because it smells like blood in here. They're cannibal zombies, remember that. And it's coming in. Turning the fan up because I get sick. I start sneezing and I got very pale yesterday. I thought it was something I ate. I'm not a well person, and I don't eat meat. I thought it was like a protein flood from the avocado and the peanut butter or something in the hummus. It was probably the fact I could smell blood. I'm allergic to it. Oh, there's a bomb making a rape threat. And remember, these things are so ugly. So there's a bomb making a rape threat. Remember, it's an ugly dog man that nobody wants, just like the rest of the building. It's a black Nazi male. And he's an ugly dog like the rest of them. And nobody wants him or likes him. And remember, these ugly rapists will literally beat women to play prostitute. It's a dog man. It's an ugly, ugly man. A boogeyman.